NCT Dream was discussing who the weirdest members were from their perspective, which I guess is the only correct perspective, except I've had this discussion before on everyone thinking that Haechan is the weirdest member and staff being like Haechan is actually one of the most normal people. And that's because Haechan is not weird. I know this sounds like a crazy take, but stick with me here. The members are getting confused with who's weird and who's a freak. Haechan is a freak! To me, there is like a slider scale for NCT Dream. There's normal, there's weird, and then there's freak, freaky McFreak. I'm saying that Jisung is like the weirdest member. I don't know if they were saying that just to like be like ha ha ha, or if they actually meant that, but that shit is fucking crazy. Jisung is just awkward. Like he just said Mark was weird. I absolutely agree with that. I thought out of all the members, Jenna was the most normal, but then I realized that nigga in a puppy play for real, bro. The amount of clips I've seen of the members being like, oh, Bark, or Jenna, come sit here, and he'll do it. The same fucking live. They were like, okay, Jenna, get on all fours. And he did. I think, in my personal opinion, Jaemin is the weirdest member of NCT Dream. And let me give you a scientific explanation on why. Because this absolutely has to do with science. Haechan is weird for pay. Jaemin is weird because that's just how he is. Besides the fact that there's a difference between being weird and being like freaky freak, like Haechan is freaky for real. And he only does it, like Jeno said, like Haechan acts the way he does to make other members feel bad. Haechan only does this to just play with the members, if that makes sense. That sounds so weird. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm watching this and like he's just doing it to like, you know what I mean? But Haechan is trying to like lift up his shirt, right? Haechan is freaky for pay. Haechan is trying to out freak you for real. It reminds me of Lino and Changbin, and they have these like who can out freak each other, but the answer is always Lino, because as soon as Changbin starts to do anything with any other member and then Felix and Lino either matches him or goes above and beyond, Changbin automatically backs up. Nigga, you not about this for real. So while Haechan does this because he gets pleasure from annoying the other members, Jaemin is just weird. Whenever he says or does anything, like, yes, he'll do it to make like the other members laugh and stuff, but he's not doing it because the camera's on. The camera just happens to be on, and this is just how he is. That was a key factor that NCT Dream was not getting, bro. If you're weird for pay, you're not weird. If you're weird to like annoy other members or whatever, or to get a laugh, you're not weird. You're weird because you're weird. You're just built like that. That's how you are. Of course, NCT Dream can get up on a live and be like, yeah, nah, Haechan's freaky. Like, but in case the NCT Dream members see this, like, Mark, if you want to go ahead and explain that, like, that is what y'all were missing, bro. Jisung isn't weird. He's just awkward. As soon as I press play, look at this shit, bro. This video is genuinely, like, a perfect example of, like, the different types of weird that these niggas are. Look at this, bro. This is... What the fuck is that? You know what? Every time I go to play this, scratch everything I said. All these niggas are just... What the fuck is happening? We're literally just bending members over. You know what? Forget this whole video. Forget everything I said. All these things are fucking weird. Forget it.